Hello and welcome back. On the last episode we input the correct names and roles for Bunny, Ox and Tiger. Not respectively in that order. Obviously it was in the Zodiac order. And we had gotten the pig trinket from that. That leaves us with 10 trinkets and we needed to find 2 more. This led Mouse to believe that all the trinkets without red numbers in them were divisible by the number 9. And which has led her to believe that another trinket can be found. Yeah, so hopefully we're about to find out if she's correct or incorrect. Anyway. Well, there was really only one way of telling for sure. I made my way into an empty classroom and took out my tablet. I pressed the add-in button and I typed in 5724. Then I submitted. I was worried I would be met with an error. However, to my surprise and delight, the code had worked. Yes. I cheered audibly. What is it? Ox ended. He had been watching me work in silence for some time now. I figured it out. I just inputted a code for the 11th minor trinket. Oh? Well, good for you. It appears we'll be able to finish things in the next 2 rounds, thanks to you. Very solid work. Oh, thanks. However, I must say, weren't you supposed to use your ability on one of us? What now? Well, you can use your ability. I'll move first, so you'll be 1 space after me. And then you can use the code and just I just input next round and I'll use my ability on you. That should be everything sorted, right? Indeed it should. And like that, we had a plan. After a brief celebration, we gathered everyone back to the cafeteria and told them the good news. Needless to say, everybody was very enthused that the nightmare would soon be over. Let's go. Thank God this will finally be over. I must say, it wasn't much of a climax to the action. The tension was just kind of slowly fizzled out. Well, thank God for that. Anyways, I suppose that means we should use all the minor trinkets this round, right? Correct. 2 more rounds and we're done. 2 more rounds. An hour and a half. That's all I had to wait, really. Cool. 2 more rounds, and it wasn't like they did anything to worry about. There were no more obstacles to get in the way of our unity. People hung around in general areas of the cafeteria, going to private rooms to input their actions at their leisure. While there still was some tension, people were far calmer than they had been before. I had a number of people breaking into conversations. I just don't get why my dog can't learn basic tricks. So we're in a death game and you're talking about your dog. What? They're not hard at all. I can do them. You're also not a dog. See, this is why cats are better. They're just chill. They don't do tricks and you don't expect them to. Yeah, but cats are kind of mean. Dogs are friendly. If you want to be a pet owner, just pick one that you'll actually take care of. Don't pick a pet and neglect it, really. Tiger, have you been using positive reinforcement when teaching your dog a trick? What's that? It's training the brain to connect positive stimuli with a certain pattern of behavior. Pavlov actually made a great strides in the field. This field by. This is going to be boring, isn't it? I don't think so. So the answer's yes. Monkey frowned. Tiger and dog, bully and monkey. I guess I just don't get it. Aaron Morris did kill Amadeus Bone, right? I thought that was proven. Of course he did. I proved it myself. There really isn't any other way for it to have gone. I investigated the all the suspects myself. You included, Mr. Rooster. To be honest, I thought it was the secretary at first. Good thing for her that the artist's testimony backed her up. So, if it's all so clear, why is this guy so sure his dad was innocent? Delusion, most likely. A son couldn't reconcile his nice father with the act of murder. His dad wasn't a bad person, so the bad people had to be out somewhere else. A childish mindset through and through. I don't trust that Rooster's talking to these two. So many times he has a personal grudge to try and kill them. Even if he killed Amadeus, that doesn't mean make the man a bad person. I mean, there's a saying about ill dead people or whatever. But forget that, dude. He sucked big time. Really? I don't know much about that. All I know is that the public certainly loved him. For once, Rooster's right. I certainly don't condone murder, but I didn't exactly weep for Amadeus Bowen. After looking into the case, there were certainly many bad stories about the man. Ox gets it. Guy refused to ever invest in any funding into my films. Okay, Rooster. You had your good timeline, and that's the good timeline. Artless cretin. Well, that wasn't exactly what I was referring to, but whatever. Thanks for taking one for the team, Ox. For the most part, I kept to myself. I was just going over everything in my head, overwhelmed by it all. When the end of the round, everybody moved 11 spaces, except for Ox, who moved 10. That was then one more cycle would settle things. We were finally reaching the end. Enough time had passed, so I decided to go into the nearby classroom to input the code for my minor trinket. Finally, this would end this nightmare, and it would be over. It would be the last thing I needed to sell things once for once and all. I walked out of the room and activated my ability on Ox. Simple as that. Things are now settled. However, before I could leave the room, a voice cracked over the speakers. Well, are you happy, Mouse? Why are you talking to us? Why are you here? Happy that you were able to band together to finish things without any casualties? I imagine you aren't. You think so little of me. Yeah, you wanted this to happen, I think. At least based on the narrations of each of the endings. Mouse, you must understand, this too is an outcome I intended to be possible. Granted, I didn't think it likely, still, it was always on the table. If you were truly innocent of heart, you would be easily slayed by my words. You'd be calm, rational, work as a group, and evade the traps set for you. Yeah, because at the very start he said all 12 of us could make it, and we did just that. Doesn't that prove you wrong? Prove that you're going through all this trouble for nothing? Perhaps. However, I wonder how many times you would have had to fail before you get the success like this. Had to fail? What does that mean? So is Brian God? Is he aware of the multiple endings? Had this outcome been the result of a cosmic dice roll, I was wondering how many times God would have had to roll the die to see something like this. I imagine quite a few times. Depends on the dice, really. If there's only if it's only a six-sided dice or six-sided die, sorry, only 6 times, or at least 6 times. I imagine more often than not, your sin would doom you. Sounds like a lot of nonsense coming from a sore loser. I don't know how little you think of us, but I know for sure that no matter how many times you put us through this, we'd always band together. Nope. If you say a lot of the times, it's actually Dog and Bunny who cause the problems. In the gang war, yeah, Dragon prevented that, but they were the traitor then. They were the traitor in the Taming Whip, the traitor with the Draconic Statue. Yeah, so Grouping Whip, Whistle, Taming Whip, Draconic Statue, who else? No, I think that's it really. That's 3, well, that's 3 times for them. Rooster's timeline had Monkey and Pig, as well as obviously Monkey and Pig's endings, that's 3 for them. Never mind, maybe I'm just barking up the wrong tree, if you say so. You can only act smug for so long, Brian. Soon enough, we're going to get out of this place, and then you're going to jail for a long time. Indeed, I imagine the police won't look so too favourably on all of this. My only regret is that I won't be able to land a punch on your face. Myself. You know, if you really want to, I'll let you. What, are you some sort of masochist? For a second, my body froze. What do you mean? Outside the school, there's a football field. There's a small building right beside the fence surrounding that field. I've been using that as my base of operations. Why are you telling us this? So if you want to come find me, to get justice yourself, that's where I'll be. And you're telling me this because? Think of it as a reward for a perfect ending. Yeah, no, I can see you being genuine with this. Do I look dumb to you? This smells like an obvious trap. Nowhere in hell am I going there by myself. Then take every one of us then. Take all 11 other people. Suit yourself. Just thought you might like to know. And with that, the speaker's cut off. Jeez, even after this game had failed, Brian had still found a way to annoy me. What did he think he was doing? Telling me his location like that? Just didn't make any sense. Whatever, why bother thinking about it for too long? I strode off into the classroom I'd been taking shelter in, back to the cafeteria. There, I continued to wait. As the round deadlines got closer, more and more people took out to excursions to separate rooms, all presumably to input codes for the minor trinkets, bringing them to the victory. I didn't pay too much of mind, but I'm still busy fuming about Brian. However, something in peculiar caught my eye. That something was Dragon, angrily pulling Snake down to the hallway towards a very end of the next round. It didn't look good. I knew that it wasn't my place, but I thought it was strange, not to mention a little disconcerting. Conflict of any kind in this layer of the game, it didn't sit well with me. I thought about following after them to see exactly what the matter was, to see if I could perhaps resolve it. What to do? Okay, I think... Oh no. It's not... How come it's every time we have to save in one of these games? The save system does not like me. I think we should go for it, really. Because I think that they've been influenced by Brian. I really should stop conflicts of any kind at the head before it gets to our hand. We're in a delicate balance since with lives in the balance. However, since there's the slight chance, I don't want that to be undone by people acting like children. So I followed Dragon and Snake to a classroom. There, they were already at each other's throats. I knew I didn't like you from the moment we woke up together. Now at least I know why that's the case. Dragon, please, take a moment to consider how ridiculously you're acting right now. First of all, I'm not even familiar with these scorpions in the first place. Okay, so gang people? Hey, whoa, break it up, you two. What the hell's going on right now? You stay out of it, Mouse. This business is between Snake and myself. No, I don't think it is. Just then, the speakers in the room kicked on. I heard a sigh. You just had to interfere, didn't you, Mouse? Whatever. This will work well enough, I suppose. Was that supposed to mean? Instead of answering, I heard movements around my neck. Movements? The only thing that should be moving was the part of my body. On the part of my body was... I felt the pain before I realized what was about to happen. It was excruciating. I never felt never felt anything like this before. I never would again, because this was the last thing I'd ever felt in my life. The absurd pain of the knives entering my neck, the blackness surrounding me as my senses fled, and the confusion of what was even happening. Normally, I'd be outraged by the unfairness of it all. But, if for that to be the case, I'd have to stay where I could think straight enough to realise it wasn't fair. Instead, all I felt was pain. Until I didn't. Ace of Hearts. Almost there. We're nearly there. However, Mouse's presence in the fight between Snake and Dragon will muddy things up. There's always a better way to deal with her. Okay, what was that about? I was expecting one of them to like stab me in the middle of a fight, but to be executed for something. Okay, after thinking about it more, it really wasn't my place to intervene in every single petty squabble that had happened. What was it about? They were both adults and they could work things out themselves. Best to let things play out naturally. So as the two walked down the hallway, I couldn't pay them mind. However, as minutes passed, I couldn't help but notice that they hadn't returned yet. Even as everybody had gathered around the TV, even as the round-ended announcement was about to go off, they weren't here. The hell? Before I could think about it too much, the screen finally cut on. Here's the moment of truth. There shouldn't be there should have been a tense suddenly. What shouldn't have been there? Been tense suddenly felt as such. Round 9 has ended. Now let's see how the race progressed. Mouse hitched a sneaky. Shouldn't Ox be behind us? Ox used a minor trinket. Ox moved to the finish line. Thanks to Sneaky Ride, Rad also moved to the finish line. Huggy used a minor trinket. Bunny used a minor trinket. Ox Dragon failed input in action. Failed input in action. Minor trinket. Minor trinket. So he just executed that room by the sounds of it. Finish line has been crossed. When as a mouse, ox, tiger, bunny, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Anyone who's not has lost. Prepare for execution. Click. What? What the hell's this? I didn't even register the fact that my collar around my neck became unlocked. This couldn't. That couldn't possibly be right, could it? No, no way. It was impossible. We had won. We had worked together and had beaten Brian's game. So why? Why was this ending like this? Why didn't we start 2 casualties? Yeah, honestly, why? Why was that room executed? The others look similarly confused. What on earth? Is there a mistake or something? This isn't good. We should go check on those two and see what is. Monksy didn't finish his set. Monkey had it. She didn't need to. We got the picture. Everybody, they went this way. I took the initiative leading to the group before I knew a dragon mistake was gone. I hurriedly walked to the scene where I didn't want to see. Unfortunately, I peered into the open classroom down the hallway. My fears were confirmed. No! The other crowd around to see the executed bodies of Dragon and Snake. What happened to those two? Why are those two being executed? I didn't need to go through and check. I didn't need to go do a thorough check to know what had happened. The blood on the floor around their necks. It painted the picture just fine. What? Why didn't they input their actions? Those guys. Damn it. Were they seriously so caught up in an argument that they didn't notice the time limit for the round? This is why I said we should have all put in our actions at the start of the round. If that's what happened, then that's pretty dumb way to die. And believe me, I've seen a lot of dumb ways. Oh, for the love... Shut up, dog. Actually, I don't think that's what happened. Look, Dragon is gripping onto Snake's tablet and vice versa. So you're saying they got their tablets mixed up? They got the tablets mixed up, really? There's no way. Each tablet had a respective animal drawn on the very back, very clearly. Well, no, dragons, especially the Chinese depiction of dragons, look very serpentine-like. So maybe they forgot the animal looks like. A dragon's kind of like a snake when you think about it. Yeah. Rooster, I don't believe your jokes are appropriate at this time. Right. And never mind. I don't think it's a simple mix-up. Those two were arguing before, right? Maybe one deliberately operated the other's tablet to kill them. What? It's possible. And if you want to kill someone, that would be the prime time to do so. But both of them are dead, so how do you explain that? Perhaps whoever was killed launched out and operated the other person's tablet as they were being executed. Is that possible? I think so. Especially if the first one down was someone vengeful like Dragon. Yeah, I don't think Snake would be vengeful. All these words were blurred together. I had stopped listening a while ago. Just instead I just seething. Hating. I was just angry and very angry with Brian. Furious with him. Well, time to go to the sports shed and just fight him to death, really. Fight him to death. Beat him to death. Furious with this nonsense game. I remember the smug voice when he told me when I told him that we had won. Did he expect something like this would happen? Did he instigate it? Regardless of the truth of the matter, Brian had now crossed the line. To kidnap us, it was one matter. To kill two of us is seemingly entirely else. Something entirely else. But how to? I took off my collar. Hey Mouse, where are you going? Mouse? Wait up. I walked faster. Mouse? Not sure if this is the time for a dramatic exit. Let her do her thing. She probably needs to blow some steam. Their voices were getting quieter. I was getting further from the classroom, closer to the door at the front of the building. Soon enough, I got to the entrance. Or rather, the exit. I grabbed the doorknob and pulled it open. I expected it would be locked. However, to my surprise, it was open. I was able to open the door quite easily. Okay, so we're outdoors. Nice. I suppose the collar was around our neck was a real deterrent for leaving the building. As I walked outside, once I could feel the sun on my skin, I could breathe fresh air. I was free. I could run straight back home. That's what I'd normally be thinking. But however, none of those thoughts crossed my mind. Instead, I had a single goal in mind. Now, where did Brian say he was? I looked around at the entire, and soon enough I saw a small building of the football field he was referring to. I strode towards there confidently, and a punch? He thought he was only going to get a punch from me? He thought his sins were worth a punch? No. I was going to teach him how it felt to be choked out. I stormed to the building with such frustrations. However, as I actually stood by the door, I hesitated for a moment. Was I being stupid? Could I really confront the Jade Emperor? No. This wasn't the Jade Emperor. This was just some sick kid. A kid in need of punishment. Time slowed down. I gripped the door handle. I began to open the door. I felt some weird resistance as I pulled it open. What was the feeling? My eyes darted downwards. Was there a wire on the in the door crack? Oh no. The news surrounding the incident took place at Censored High School, and it's still incoming as we get more information surrounding the incident. Truly, this appears to be the story of the year. News of reported deaths. News of the purported death game had been sweeping the nation. Millions of eagers to know what exactly happened. Luckily, it appears the mastermind behind the event had already passed away. Still, it's a true tragedy. The bodies of a local community leader and a respected teacher at a high school were found inside the premise, apparently executed by a crude methodical device strapped to the neck. A local community leader. Okay, so that's what Dragon is. Additionally, a young law student was caught in a fatal explosion, killed by a device rigged inside the operating base of the mastermind. Police suspect that the mastermind intended to die alongside whoever came to capture him as a final act of terrorism. Indeed, the body of the mastermind was found incinerated inside the base. Perhaps most shockingly, the mastermind had been identified as Brian Morris, a senior at the very high school that the incident took place at. The motive of such act of terror: the boy was purportedly vengeful of his father, whom he'd consider wrongfully executed. Instead of the victims, indeed the victims of mass kidnapping incidents had all some connection to another mysterious case from years past. Many are skeptical that an absurdly complex act of terror could be carried out by a single child. However, investigations into the matter highly support the idea that Brian acted alone. Records of him manufacturing a bizarre collar used in the incident, as well as getting hands on various dangerous weapons, have been found. This re-sparked a long-held debate in the nations regarding restricting access to such things. Additional proof that Brian directly kidnapped at least 9, so 2 of us came willingly. I'm assuming Snake, and it would have to be Horse, because who else could willingly walk there? Well, maybe I was gonna say maybe Rooster, but yeah. The victims that night before the incident had been found. Heavily circumstantial evidence remaining for the final 3. Okay. Notebooks owned by Brian showed that the frightening process of which he concocted the idea of the death game, as well as the various items he would hide, where he would hide them, and additional details. A thorough sweep of the high school revealed that most of, if not all of the ideas Brian had written down there were in fact present. Those notes showing that Brian was apparently considering a handful of other candidates for a sadistic game. The alternate candidates included the judge responsible for handing the sentence of Aaron Morris, Chief Police Bowen, and Anna Red, the associate of the late... okay, who's Anna Red then? That's an associate of the late Amadeus Bowen. The system used to operate the entire endeavour has also been poured through. The frightening amount of forethought went into coding the system of which the death game ran. Analyst reveals that the majority of the game was handled automatically, with plenty of voice clips being pre-recorded. However, the aspects of the game were manually operated via a custom app the Mastermind installed on a burner phone. With all of this evidence combined with the testimonies of the surviving victories, the police are currently conducting that Brian Morris acted alone in this unprecedented act of terror. So who's watching the news? While the official investigation into this incident may be coming to a close, the public is still left with many questions. Early in, I'm assuming this is when and it's shut off. Click. Yep. Ace of Spades. A perfect sequence of events. The only casualties were the necessary ones. How are mouse, snake, and dragon necessary? A highly reliable path with minimal room for error. Should be easy to arrange and set the stage perfectly. The intended result. The deck of cards have dropped back onto the table. I get it. I've got it. Are you sure? I mean, I know you've been shuffling through the deck of cards for hours now, which creepy, I might add. So Snake's talking to someone, but you weren't actually doing much. Oh, I was doing plenty. I've died, a couple of dozen times at this point, more? I wasn't keeping track, but that's beside the point. Okay then. So we're good now? Of course. I've mapped out the perfect sequence to take care of things just the way you want. Fantastic. I knew you could count on you. So what now? Things should already be in the process of being put into the action at this point, correct? There's not much left. Now I can I'll handle capturing mouse, you handle the rest. Think you can handle that? Of course I can. Don't condescend to me. I wouldn't dream of it. Just like that, the room had one person in it. It's funny, mapping everyone's lives on a board like this. Moving them like pieces. Having them completely under my control. It's liberating. Now I'm the one that makes the decisions. Psychiatrist. I take no joy in reporting this to you, however. Guardian. What? What's wrong with the blur? Okay. What's wrong with the brat? I don't know how else to put it. I believe your child is suffering from an inability to feel emotion, or at least a severe impairment to do so. Looking at things historically, this is often a symptom of the brain lacking... Hold on. I don't give a damn about the science of it all. You telling me that my kid's a freak? Now hold on, I didn't say freak. Let's be careful with terminology. You're saying they can't feel emotions. That's psychopathic. That's the epitome of being a freak. The doctor was wrong. It's not that I couldn't feel emotions, it's that I didn't need to feel them unless I wished to. I had control over them in a very literal sense. Really, this was an advantage, wasn't it? No, there were drawbacks to it. I learned pretty quickly that my actions weren't like the others. That I was viewed differently than the others. To remedy that, I got better by leaving them on all the time. For a time, that was perfect. I was able to blend in, more or less. It took me a while before I came to the painful realization of how careless I was being, leaving them on like that. Since then, I learned. Why am I thinking about that person now of all times? This is unproductive. Well, maybe I can sympathize with them a bit more now. After all, it does feel good to be in control of other people's lives. Jesus Christ, my head aches. It's like I can hear a blaring noise, just ringing and ringing and ringing. Shut up, shut up. What's with a noise like that in the real? Wait, it is real? As I came to my senses, I realized that I was no longer blindfolded and no longer bound in gags. Whatever alarm was waking me up to stops, and I could finish doing its job. It was at this point I realized that something was covering my face and feeling. I tried to pull it off, and to my surprise, I realized that a mouse mask was stuck over my head. What on earth would be there? More importantly, what was it stuck to? And the investigation revealed that my throat was surrounded by a metallic object. The hell? Immediately, I tried to take it off, but unlike the mask, there was a thing here to stay. Oh, it doesn't seem good. I couldn't dwell on it. I needed to assess the situation. So, what did I know? It looked like I was in some science classroom. Then, what could be the case? I'm going to see if we wake up with Ox again, and then I'll end it there. As I poured, I noticed another person sitting at his feet. Okay, so we were working with Brian, I think. Whoa, what the hell? I think we should call it there. Saving doesn't work, but this is definitely something interesting. That's my theory so far. Mouse was supposed to be the judge, but as we said, we were a last minute replacement because they died. And now we were just feigning ignorance because we were innocent. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. Thank you for stopping by, and hopefully I can see you with the next one. Goodbye.